school calendar for the upcoming school year, the 2012-2013. We did receive correspondence from our kindergarten staff, and I think everyone got to read that email. I did respond back to them and let them know that if they would like to be on the agenda tonight, that would be fine. I unfortunately didn't hear back from anybody, but I do have a teacher here that may want to come up. Is there anything you want to add to? I'm giving you opportunity because I know that this is kind of a work in progress. I think that the superintendent has said to me that he agrees, we all agree, actually. I think we all do. I won't speak for everybody, but in this way, I think we all agree exactly with what you requested. As he put to me, you know what needs to be done. And being parents, we understand that you know what needs to be done. So I think starting on, I believe, the 23rd, Mr. Himmelberger, for kindergarten?
One proposal certainly has that as the
Yeah.
start date, yes, which is the day after everyone else will report.
Okay. So we do have that as one recommendation, and also Mrs. Higgins is here from the subcommittee, and you're going to be making the presentation with anyone else?
Howard.
Okay, all right, why don't you both come up? I know that this
Madam Chair?
subcommittee is, yeah, one second. I know that this subcommittee just really started to do their work, and I think this is going to be something that's going to be ongoing, so we look forward to hearing, of course, everything you have to say. Yes, Mr. Anderson?
Just to let you know, Ms. Plakis, Mr. Yvonne, and Ms. Belvery, and who are the other two? I can't think of her name, from Barton School, also was on the committee. They can't make it tonight because they're in class.
Okay, all right. If you could just do me a favor for the record so that our recording secretary can just put it in her notes. Just your name, and if you do work for the district, what your position is, or if you're a parent. We
Okay.
appreciate it.
My name is Stephanie Higgins. I work as a teacher assistant at Chafee Elementary. I'm also a mother of 4 students that do attend Oxford schools.
And my name is Helen Howard, and I am a parent.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
So, good evening.
Good evening.
Madam
Thanks for
Chair,
coming
School
in.
Committee, Superintendent Himmelberger, and Mr. Matthews. We have some proposals for the school calendar 2012-2013. The tentative dates for starting on the calendar that was printed originally, the starting date for new employees to the district was the 20th of August. What we are proposing is moving the start of school back a week. So we're proposing that new staff would report on August 27th. All staff would report instead of August 21st to August 28th. School would start for all grades except for kindergarten. Kindergarten would be able to have their orientation all day, or however long it takes. The tentative date was August 22nd. We're suggesting August 29th for that. Kindergarten would start August 30th for us. The tentative date was August 23rd on the calendar. Also, August 31st was considered a day off because of Labor Day weekend, giving us a 4-day weekend. We were thinking of just having a full day of school for that. That way the kindergartners would have 2 full, complete days of school. So if you look at August, we're behind on 4 days because of this pushing it back. So we're shy 4 days. We're not touching September, we're not touching any dates in October. But November, the date here, November 21st, it's suggested that we have no school. We're suggesting a half a day of school for that. That would make up 1 day, so it would be shy 3 days now. Also, December, January would stay the same. So the 3 days that were shy, well, actually 4 altogether, would be, we're saying, 3 days we would be shy. We're saying, let's have school February 19th, 20th, and 21st. We'd still have President's Day off, of course. But we're asking to make 4-day week that week. And we are over 1 day extra. So to give families still kind of a vacation, we're asking for February 15th off. So they would have a 4-day weekend versus just a 3-day weekend. So they'd have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. Come to school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that week that we usually have February vacation. And then the rest of the year we have not touched. We would still get out without snow days on June 12th. If there are 5 snow days, we would get out on the 19th, just like the schedule that is here.
Any questions from the committee?
These are just proposals.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still talking. I
Yeah,
talk a
no,
lot.
that's, whenever you're on a subcommittee, it's always kind of a work in progress. You
Yes.
know, you do the best you can with the information you
Right.
have. And I know that this kind of started late.
Yes.
Because our calendar should have been approved by now, but I let that go another meeting, so here we are with this meeting here, so we could hear what was going to be proposed. How are you coming up with the change of dates? What is giving you the information to back that up?
Well, we looked at it at the meetings where we were 5 days shy in August. But because we suggested having a full day on August 31st, then we'd be 4 days shy. So we would put the 4 days into February vacation, so that'd be the 4-day week. And because we suggested having a half a day of school on the 21st, that gives us a day
In November?
extra that we're over, right, November 21st.
Yeah.
So that's where we were asking for February 15th to be off. So it would
Okay.
make up, it would be even with those dates.
The only concern I have about February vacation is some people do make plans.
I understand
You know,
that.
and that is one of the concerns. They make things a year in advance. If you're going to, go on a vacation, whether it be, some families go on cruises,
Right.
they do other things. So that, for this year, would be, I think, a tough nut to crack. Does anyone have any, Mr. Peterson?
Originally, I didn't think it was, but Mr. Himmelberger did talk to me today, and I am in favor of all of this, pretty much, but because of the timing of it, and we're moving so late, I would concede and agree to make this start next year. Even though I'm not going to be here, I still want to follow through in the next couple of weeks with this, wherever this has to go from here. But I am in favor of what they've done. I sat on the committee with them too, and unfortunately, and my apologies, I took a nap and didn't make your meeting that night.
Christie's
I
on it.
never go home and sit down on the couch, okay? It's
At your age.
at my age, Mr. Himmelberger says, so, all right.
We'll give you the
But
benefit.
I'll take the shot, it's mine. But anyway, I appreciate what you've done, you've worked hard with us. I'm not gonna belabor it, but I do agree with the concept and what's being proposed right here. And I'm sure it's gonna have to go to the administration and things for there. We did have one administrator on it with us also, along
Right,
with Mr.
Mr.
Matthew
Ewan,
attended
yeah.
some meetings. So it wasn't just us swinging in the dark. We were looking, as you asked Mrs. Ennis, about figures, parents' input, and teachers' inputs, and this is where most of this has come from, okay?
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
I? I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
We did talk, I didn't talk to all the schools, but I have talked to people from the Claire Barton Elementary, from Chafee, teachers, staff. Everybody really, really liked starting a week later, pushing it back. And they thought that with the February vacation, it kind of was an even, that they didn't mind that. They would rather do that than that. And I understand families do go away, but it is a 10-month window that we're telling them ahead of time. So they do have enough time to make plans. If there is still a 4-day, block that they could take a vacation. They could even leave maybe Thursday night, get a better deal because it's not February vacation.
There you go.
But, it's just a suggestion. I know it's just a proposal. Like you said, we're in the early stages, but eventually we are going to have to do something like this, I
Yeah.
think. Every year, it just seems like we're starting earlier and earlier, and it's still summer. You know, unfortunately, we're missing some of our summer. Some of the people still go away in August, and they're stopping their camps and things so that they can get back in time to start school, which I know other districts are starting on the 27th, so it's just, you know, just some suggestion for you to think about.
Sure. Mr. Anderson?
I know what Mark said about implementing it for next year, but I would like to do it on this calendar for reasons that come August 20th, with the selectmen that decided not to vote for our AC or our chillers in the middle school, the high school is going to get the chillers and the OMS is going to get the air. And working in those buildings before, and you're going to have days in August that are going to be 90 degrees, and the upstairs of that Oxford Middle School is going to be well over 100. I can honestly say I've seen them days well over 100 at the Oxford Middle School, and any student will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, we all have.
I see this young fellow over here shaking his head.
I absolutely can't say that.
Just putting it off that another week later, I believe it's really good. I mean, we worked on it. I was one that wanted to get away, would try to make it the first week of March and eliminate February. Then I started talking to other people, and Karen Yvonne told me maybe we would have had to make the summer school longer for Project Duke and stuff, because they can only be out of school so long.
Right, that's right.
So after looking at that, I'm not going to make the district pay more money, okay? But with the AC not being in the middle school and the chiller's not going to be in the high school, things are going to get mighty hot. And I do believe that people are going to take their vacations anyways, no matter what. They're doing it after school. They're doing it now in February. They're leaving before February vacation. I mean, I do have numbers. I won't discuss it, but I can tell you right now that I don't see it being a problem myself.
Mr. Peterson?
I think I figured it out. Actually, they conceded with me because I wanted February shut down, because that's usually one of our economically most expensive months of the year. Even though it's a short month, it can cost us a lot for the heating, plowing, everything else. But the way they have worked this still takes into some of that into consideration for February also. So I can appreciate that, too.
Mr. Himmelberger, anything you want to recommend or add, or?
I can certainly give you my personal comment, and that is that it really doesn't matter to me. I'm here. And you know, the proposed calendar is certainly well thought out and not a bad idea. The only caveat I will share is that there are folks who still are traditional and hold on to that calendar, the December, February, and April. And I would like to give them more than a 10-month heads up. Having said that, I also have to deal with the administrative team who has proposed the current dates. And those are your paid professionals who put that together. Mr. Anderson makes a very good point about the heating of the building in August, but there is a trade-off, and that is, I believe, those much older than I in terms of service would remember the last time that we went and tried to remove February school vacation. We had a snowstorm, and so we ended up having to extend the calendar on the back end. And that's the chance you take, because it is right in the snowy days of the year. So certainly, I think it's an idea that could be approached going forward. I just have some concerns about springing it on faculty, families, administrators for next year. But I really don't see too many drawbacks with it.
Okay.
But, excuse me, Mrs. Ennis,
Yes,
But having said that, we do need a calendar
we need it
as soon
tonight.
as possible,
We need
like
it
2 weeks ago, because so much depends on our planning with rolling over data on iPass to planning out our summer programming. We also have the middle school project going on. There would be an additional expense, as Mr. Anderson mentioned, because we would have to extend special ed services. But, I mean, it's a nice, compact schedule, and that's what's best for our kids. So, but I would think another year of planning would help us.
And I have to agree with that. I do think, I like this idea. I like the dates. I like what Mr. Anderson said. I agree with him. We all know that that's fact. It's very unfortunate that we are not going to be able to bring to the town, let them vote for the buildings if they could, have the air and the chillers. The selectmen already made their decision for us, which is unfortunate. If I had to vote this tonight, I would like to see more work done on it. I'd like the committee to continue.
Okay.
I think being fair, to even give you more time. I think this is something that, like the superintendent said, our paid professionals are the ones that have got to live by this calendar. I would like to give them opportunity to take a look at this, and then also give their blessing and say to the superintendent, we like the recommendation also. I think the work you did is excellent. It makes sense. It all makes sense. So in saying that, I would like to entertain a motion to hold it for 1 year, let you continue your work, come back to us whenever you want to make a report.
Okay.
And whoever the chair is at the time, please give, at least give them a call so that we can all understand. It's going to be a whole new committee here, so
Okay.
we can do that. I do have to say, though, that I do agree with the kindergarten teachers that sent us the email that they need that 23rd of August day
Correct.
for whatever it is that they need to do to make sure that the children are acclimated to the building, and they, it's a very, very heavily emotional day, kindergarten, first day at kindergarten. I remember it well. And we just want to make sure that that goes off without a hitch. But I think that the work, I'll say it again, I think the work you've done here I think it's very good information. So, Mr. Peterson?
You're saying hold for a year. Are you saying hold implementation of it for a year, or you're gonna have to wait a year to vote it? or-
No, what I would recommend is I would allow them to continue their work and
Right.
their meetings, absolutely. If anything changes, they could come back to the committee and report again. If it was a different circumstance and we had more time, I think we would vote this. I truly do. But time is not really on our side right now, and as Mr. Himmelberger had just stated, the paid professionals, so to speak, our principals and all of our administrators need to have their input on this, and I don't think it's fair giving it to them at the last hour and saying, what do you think? They have, this is the calendar that they have approved. The only change we're making is the August 23rd date for kindergarten. I like this work, I do like it, but I think we're talking about 2,000 students here with families, and you need to give them, I wouldn't drop this in people's lap and say, here we go, surprise. I don't think that's fair, that's not our job. I think it's best that we start to convey, look there's going to be a change in the calendar, and it's coming, and we have a committee that's putting out information, and here's the information. I think you have to be fair to the families that we all, with the children that we educate, and make it fair for them. I would never want this dropped in my lap and said, we're changing everything on you. But present it the proper way, give them proper notice, and let them know that it's going to change. Mr. Peterson?
As I said earlier, I could concede to that fact. My only concern is, I'm not going to be here, but I don't know is it possible to take this before the administrative council? We've talked to teachers and things, and we've been talking to them right along now, and parents, that this could be voted before the end of this school year, so that still would give them the year's notice, and not all of a sudden in June, vote it, and as an example, next year in June, still would only be 3 months. So my concern is the timeline still of how it's going to be done and handled, okay?
Mrs. Coonan?
Just a suggestion, possibly, going with what has been approved by the, principals of the buildings so far, and then possibly September, October, maybe get the group back together again in front of the school committee, and after having spoken to more parents, all sides, and kind of, getting it out there a little bit, and getting the comments back and suggestions, and then possibly September, October, maybe even November, having the committee approve at that point, so then you have close to a year before that school calendar is really in effect. So that before I go on vacation next February, I know that there's going to be a change, or possibly a change for the following February, and I may not go ahead and just book something thinking I know what the week is going to look like. Maybe something that we want to do sooner.
Mr. Peterson?
I can appreciate your thoughts, but I think that's pushing it still on the timeline. I think we still have enough time to get back together. You still have 2 months before school's out this year to get back together and work with the administration or whatever and try to resolve something before the end of this school year even.
Mrs. Coonan?
I think what my concern with that would be is that if I had gone on vacation this past February and made vacation plans for February of 2013.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking that this continue to be studied and resolved in the next 2 months. You still would have plenty of time.
And put into effect
You would
13,
still have
14?
plenty of time to make it effective the following year, not 2013,
12, 13, but
not 12, 13, but 13,
13,
14.
14.
Yes.
I think that's what they should, that's
Beautiful.
exactly what
Even
they
better.
should do. They should continue absolutely meeting,
Right,
absolutely.
Because the original
Yeah.
thought or plan was to wait till September, and I don't really like that, to bring it back up again. I'd rather keep the dialogue going right now.
Absolutely.
Even better.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
With this schedule too, it also gives, if you think about it from an administrator point of view, it gives 4 extra days too in the year before MCAS. So parents and teachers can be assured that the kids are getting more information. Maybe they are not getting that curriculum, or they're getting maybe a reinforcement of the curriculum that they went over. They're getting 4 extra days before MCAS starts to review or to cover, because sometimes we don't even have enough time because of the snow days. So this is giving the 4 extra days. So it's something also to keep in the back of your mind and consider that by having that February vacation used with those days, it just would benefit the students.
Yeah, that's
And
a very
also
good
for the
point.
younger kids too. They just have December break. We get them into a great routine, and then February vacation.
Yeah.
And then we get them back into the routine, April vacation.
Right.
So it's really hard. I think if we didn't have the February vacation, I think the kids would be doing much better, really. I think with the routines, everything. I just think it would benefit everybody all around. And I understand we're not always going to make everybody happy no matter what. Someone is not going to like February vacation being gone, but it's just something to consider.
Anything else from the committee? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion in regard to this calendar, so I will allow somebody to make a motion here in regard to the presentation.
Of the calendar presented
To ho-
by this
to-
committee, is that what you're saying?
No, of the calendar that we have in front of us,
In front of you?
the 2012-2013 calendar.
If you're going to go this, you know my opinion, I'm sorry.
Do you want to make a motion, sir?
I'll move for further discussion.
Okay. Mr. Anderson?
Personally, I'm not in favor of having the whole day off the 21st
where I was
of
getting.
November. Okay, if we're gonna have to go this year with this calendar that's in front of me, I would make that a half a day. The 31st,
Of which month?
I'm looking at August.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just jumping around.
That's all right.
But the 21st, I don't know why we need the 31st off neither of August. Okay? for a 4-day weekend. I don't see that, or the 21st. I'm not in favor of either two of those dates. I have an off. They can either make them a half a day, or... I'm looking for these kids to be out of school, like I said, to start. I know what it's gonna be like in that middle school in the hot weather. So, this is the reason why we put it together, is to try to get them out as soon as we could, after what we saw coming through the selectmen, so.
Okay. Anything else? Mr. Peterson?
That's where I was going with it, but the 21st, I'm not in favor of, never have been. The day before Thanksgiving, they have plenty of time off at that point in time. I've heard from all directions from Mr. Himmelberger and why Mr. Boss brought it back and this and that, but I still think that that's one less day as far as starting time or something, that 21st could be eliminated.
You would eliminate it completely as a day off, or you would eliminate it to make it a half a day?
I'm not in favor of the half-day either. I'd eliminate it completely as a day off.
So you'd rather it be an in-session day?
Right.
Full day.
Mr. Himmelberger?
Just a comment on that day before Thanksgiving. As you recall, previous superintendent did bring it back and polled families and faculty, and it was experimented to have it as a day off, and it did meet with lots of support. We did it for 3 or 4 years, and then last year we put it back in as a half a day. Our attendance went from 97% to 85%. So families voted with their children attending or not, and so we lost upwards of close to 300 students who did not attend school that day. So that was one of the factors in going back to taking it as a day off, because obviously we had enough folks who wanted that.
Mr. Peterson?
That may be the case, Mr. Himmelberger, but that's their choice. If it's a day absent or truant, that's the family's choice. We've had other situations, the same thing, where, quote, you might want to call it a protest or whatever. Again, because of the flip-flop back and forth between superintendents, it wasn't given real substantial time either, I don't believe. So, if they want to take a kid out, it's just like the week after February. We have the February vacation right now, and probably 50% of them go to Disney World afterward because there's too many schools and everybody on vacation at the same time. So I can make that argument either way, but I still stand in favor of full day for the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. Is this the end of our discussion here? Because I do have a motion.
Your vote.
I move to have full session the 21st. I think there was a second.
Okay. I didn't see it here a second yet. Anything on the 31st of August?
I can include that in my motion if you want, the 31st and the 21st.
Okay. And can we just add?
Second it.
Just add to the motion that the 23rd of August will be the first day of kindergarten? For the 23rd, as the kindergarten teachers requested?
Yes. I'll motion, yep.
Okay. You okay with that, Darcy? Okay. I have a motion and a second.
We have two separate motions. You want to include it in one? Or?
I wanted to make it one if we could.
All right, I'll make it inclusive in my motion.
Okay, thank you. I'll call for the vote, please.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
by having school on the 31st and the 21st, that means we're going to get out on the 10th of June? Our last day of school would be the 10th of June?
Certainly could,
Okay.
2 days
Barring
later.
the snow.
yeah.
Okay, so, yes, I'll make a yep.
I can't do anything.
Yeah, oh, yes, of course you can.
Well, we,
We just thought that maybe we could start after Labor Day then.
no, 2
I
days
can't-
later.
well,
Oh, two- I'm sorry, 2 days later.
2 days later.
Well, right now I have a motion on the floor and I have to take the vote right now. Anything else? Call for the vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes, okay. The calendar is approved with the changes of, let's see, 23rd of August being full-day kindergarten, 31st of August will be a full day of session, and the 21st of November will be a full day of session. We ask that the calendar subcommittee
Full day.
please continue their work and we'll hear from you again.
All right, thank you
All
very
right.
much for your
Thank you very
time and
much for coming in.
consideration.
Mrs. Ennis,
We
the
appreciate it. Yes, sir.
10th will be the tentative date to be out,
Yes,
correct?
June 10th.
June 10th,
June 10th will be the last day of school.
last day of school, okay.
So
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. So the committee just voted to have Wednesday, November 21st as a full day of school?
Yes.
Yes.
I respectfully disagree with that vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, yeah. What? Oh, you. You, Ryan. Okay, Ryan, you're up. I'll let you go.
All right, I'll start off with the athletics tonight. It's kind of in like the transitional period still, so there's not a ton going on, but the spring season just started. Baseball is off to a 2-0 record, and in the season opening, Nick LeMay had 16 strikeouts, so they're doing exceptionally well.
That's great.
Varsity softball is 1-1. Boys track is 2-0, and they had 2 victories over Millbury and Grafton. And girls track is 0-2. And there are 2 new junior varsity coaches, one for baseball, Mr. David Meach, and one for softball, Mr. Scott Nevers. From the Pirates United track team, they had their first track meet last Wednesday here at the high school, and they hosted Fitchburg and Marlboro. And this week on Wednesday is their second home meet, and they'll be hosting Neshoba. And the first 25 people at the meet get a free Be a Fan t-shirt. From National Honor Society, we have 12 inductees that will be inducted to the National Honor Society on May 1st, and that'll take place here in the auditorium at 6 p.m. From the art department took 40 students on a field trip last Thursday to the Scholastic Art Awards and the Institute of Contemporary Art in Boston. And at the ICA, we saw the Figuring Color exhibit, and it was a really awesome exhibit to be at. And we have 2 students that were accepted into the Art All-State program at the Worcester Art Museum, and that would be myself and Anissa White.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank
to
you.
both of you.
So that'll be
Excellent.
a weekend in June, and it's kind of like a 3-day overnight for the weekend, and we do all sorts of stuff. We meet lots of people that are artistic just like us, and I'm so excited.
That's
I'm really
good.
excited.
That's great.
Student Council is working really, really hard on the spring conference, which is April 26th. So we have about 2 weeks to get that stuff finished, about 17 days, so it's crunch time. We have planned for the very beginning of May. We have a blood drive on May 1st here, most likely in the community room from 8 to 2. And we're hoping to get as many units donated as we did in February because we could qualify for a scholarship from Bob's Furniture if we raise enough blood. And the senior citizen dinner will be most likely May 9th. I'm still in the process of getting in touch with the senior center, but it's looking good for May 9th here, and that would probably be at 5. And we are selling chocolate lollipops in the shape of puzzle pieces for autism awareness this month. And last year we made over $200 on that. So we started making them today, and hopefully they'll sell as well as they did. And on Sunday, May 6th, we have the 2012 Project Bread annual Walk for Hunger through Boston that our student council and some, possibly some staff members and other non-student council members will be taking part of. And I can't wait for that because the 20 miles is an intense walk and run, but it's so awesome when you get done with it. And I hope to do 20 miles again this year. And we are having a can tab drive for until the end of April, and we have already raised upwards of 30 pounds. Of that, our goal is 70, as it was last year. And we are also holding a can drive here for the Oxford Food Shelf that will be filling a treasure chest at the spring conference. And the schools that will be attending that, we're looking at upwards of 400 people. I think 400 is the limit, so right around there. And all the schools will be bringing food to fill that, and it will be going half to our food shelf here in Oxford and then half to the tornado relief in Springfield.
Good.
And lastly, from NJROTC, the annual inspection was Wednesday, the 28th of March, and a special thank you to Mrs. Ennis, Mrs. Coonan, and Mr. Peterson for their attendance. They would also like to thank the National Honor Society for serving as ushers. And Mr. Nugent received many positive comments about the overall cleanliness of the school by a senior inspector and said that it was one of the cleanliest schools that he's visited in Massachusetts. That's something very nice about our school, and thank you to the custodial staff for that too. And on Friday, March 30th to Sunday, April 1st, Oxford cadets participated in the Green Mountain Youth Leadership Conference at Norwich University. And they visited the Vermont State House, and they visited a maple sugar farm, a cider mill, the Cabot Farmers Dairy and Cheese Center, and the Ben & Jerry's factory. And then they participated in team building drills, morals and ethics classes, Constitution and Bill of Rights lectures, intelligent leadership design classes, and they did rock climbing and drown proofing in an Olympic pool. And they all said that it was the best leadership training that they have received to date. The Navy end-of-the-year reports were sent out last Friday, and the school is awaiting the area manager selections for the end-of-the-year award winners, which will likely be announced the first week of May. The cadets were also helping in flower sales at the Oxford Fire Department and EMS station over this past Easter weekend. And there have been over 50 color guard appearances done this year and over 2,600 hours of community service documented.
Wow.
Sunday, NJRTC was asked by the Oxford Memorial Honor Guard and Historical Society to lead the 100th Anniversary Memorial Service Parade from the Oxford Middle School on Sunday to Clara Barton's burial site. The cadets will lead multiple Civil War reenactor groups from Massachusetts who will be camped out on the Oxford Middle School grounds on Saturday and Sunday. The Red Cross is supposed to send major officials and will conduct a blood drive at OMS on Sunday, and there's a parade there's a plan for a parade to start at 1 for a 2 o'clock service at the cemetery. On Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, there's a possible Adopt a Highway cleanup concurrent with Earth Day observances. And on Sunday, the 22nd, the Color Guard is asked to lead the Little League Parade and conduct the opening ceremonies. And they are working with North High School in Worcester to attend the annual Basic Leadership Training Camp from May 17th to May 20th at the Naval Station in Newport. And there'll be additional coordination scheduled to set up a senior sailing experience the first 2 weekends at the Naval Station Marina in Newport. And that is all I have.
Very good, sir. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, from our superintendent, approval for grade 1 out-of-state field trip, June 4th to Roger Williams Park Zoo, please.
Just ask the committee to approve this trip, as it is out of state, even though it is close to home.
Okay.
Our students greatly benefit by these trips, and they are a terrific addition to their education.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 affirmative, 1 absent. We wish them a happy trip. Next is approval for a grade 2 out-of-state field trip on June 8th to the Hartford Science Museum.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Call for the vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, and we also wish the second graders a wonderful time. Thank you very much. We have a, let's see, policy change for the CPR. Mr. Himmelberger?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As everyone knows, we have a coordinated program review, April 23rd to the 26th. And in order for us to comply with what they have already given us as some minor changes that we need to address, I asked for the committee to approve in your packet what is in yellow, and it refers primarily to homelessness and to specific dates of IDEA. And so they are in both the school committee policy and in the handbooks as you go through. You will see those areas in yellow. And I would
Okay.
just ask for the committee's blanket approval on those changes.
Second,
Thank you. Call for the vote, please.
yes.
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 Yes, for affirmative, those changes are accepted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Student we have from our superintendent, please.
Superintendent is still recovering from the changes to the calendar. I have
I think the superintendent will be all right.
nothing else to add at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Coonan, I'm sorry, Mr. Matthew, forgive me, sorry about that.
Briefly this evening to the committee, we did open this afternoon bus bids that were put back out on the street. I do not have a recommendation for the committee this evening, as they were just opened, and we need to go through and make sure all the paperwork was done correctly and figure out the pricing, and I've been in the meeting every 2 hours this afternoon, so.
Okay. No problem, thank you very much. We'll get that report next meeting. Thank you. Thanks. Anything else? No? Okay, Mrs. Coonan?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, seeing what's happening out west, we have a safe in place drill, we have fire drills, and I was just bringing it up the other day to a teacher. I said, what would happen if we had a tornado? Would anybody know where to go? And it was said no. And that's a big thing. I mean, I'm a realist, I believe we could have one, and if it's at school, it could happen at any time, and we have many children, 2,000 children, that will go into a panic because nobody would know where to go. I don't know how to get a drill, a safety on somehow to put it. We have glass all around these buildings, and something that we could probably try a drill somewhere. The safest place in the buildings, hopefully, would be the hallways, but nobody's really looked at that, and everybody just said, whoa, that's a good question to ask.
We don't have anything in our manuals for protocol?
We have protocol, Madam Chair, through the chair to
Yes,
Mr. Anderson.
please.
We do have protocols for where to go and what to do. We don't have specific protocols for a tornado. And I think it is well worth it to look into that as
Absolutely.
specific, and probably will consult with the fire chief and the police chief in terms of how much warning we may end up getting, and then from there, we are in the process of relooking at all of our protocols, so this is certainly one that needs to be addressed.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have tonight, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
thank you very much. Mr. Peterson?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Anderson, because, again, we used to have tornado drills. Of course, I came from a different part of the country where you had to duck under the chairs and everything else. And a proper protocol for the drill. Like you said, we have fire drills and things, but I thank you for your response to that, Mr. Himmelberger. I think that working with the police and the fire on that issue was, I don't know where civil defense stands in this town or anything anymore, but, or if it exists.
That's what I'm feeling.
Anyway, the only other thing I have is just to compliment the NJROTC myself on the inspection. As usual, it was impressive, and they had 6 inspectors this year instead of 1, and they were immensely impressed for the day and the night inspection. So basically, that's what I have tonight.
Thank you very much. The only thing I have is I have to say I enjoyed the play over at the middle school. I thought that was an excellent production for that age group. They all really put their heart and soul into it. It was a very good show, very funny, and I enjoyed that. And also the NJROTC was excellent. Of course, once again, outstanding. So in saying that, those 2 events were great, but I have to showcase one of the ROTC young ladies, Kayla McCarthy. I thought was, I don't know, I was sitting there, I think, with my mouth hanging open. I just thought that the routine that she put together, and, what is that called, what they do?
Unarmed exhibition.
Unarmed exhibition was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And she just seemed to have such control, and it was just so precise. The precision of it was excellent, and I have to thank State Rep. Fatman, State Rep. Frost, and Senator Moore for joining us also. That was very good of them to come. So, once again, an excellent night with our ROTC team. Just so everyone can see, you do have your year-end events that are enclosed in our packet this evening. I know that some of you will no longer be on the committee for some of the events, but I believe invitation is opened to you on all of these events. And we hope that you can join us, join the new committee, and participate with that. And I do not have any further business. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting. We will go into executive session. We will not come out for any votes. No, wait a minute. I shouldn't say that. No, the vote would be in executive session, sorry. So I'd like to go into executive session now, according to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, for the purpose of collective bargaining. We are now going to go into executive session. I have to clear the room. Thank you very much for coming in.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would move that we go into executive session and only come out for the purpose of,
To adjourn.
to adjourn.
Thank you. Mrs. Coonan,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
and I vote yes. We are now in executive session.